I think I've been waiting for this interview for about 5 years since I first lusted after you, Samantha Davies. Welcome to Sailing Anarchy, the interview. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Well, welcome to Les Subterranes.
You're a French girl now. Do I have it with me? No, I don't have it. I went to go find your team's PR materials to do a little reading up on you, and I grabbed one and I walked downstairs and I start reading it. It's not only is not. I mean, I speak French. That wasn't the problem. It wasn't actually your materials. It was the Vendee region's promotional stuff, and you're on the front cover. And I'm sitting there going, I know the French and English have a long rivalry, and you'd never expect that kind of adoption, but they have really adopted you as one of their own.
Yeah, and it's really nice. And I guess I've been here since 2004, so it's nearly 10 years now. And I kind of do sailing or offshore sailing the French way now, since I did the Mini Transat in 2001. And I've kind of gone the way the French go, from Mini Transat to Figaro to Open 60s, with a bit of Class 40 and a bit of J80 and a bit of everything in between.
And it's obviously done you well. The last Vendee, you shocked, I think, everybody, and finished fourth with a very old boat, an 8 or 9 year old boat, I think, and you slugged it out and made it happen. I mean, what's the key to sort of being able to continue when things are falling down around you, when people are having trouble, when things are breaking, and yet you can keep on plugging?
It's not any old boat that I sailed last time. It's Michel Desjoyaux's old PRB and Vincent Rioux' old PRB, so that boat's got quite a good CV now, because it's got 2 firsts and a fourth, and nearly third. I shocked myself as well, because I didn't think I'd get anywhere near fourth, and I thought I'd be lucky if I get in the top 10. And I think realistically, on paper, I think the boat was 26th in terms of boat speed, but it was really a race of attrition last time. And I think the secret of success in a Vendée Globe is part of the preparation. The team, and I think the team have a lot to we're the stars that get to sail the boat, but it's the teams that do all the preparation, and they're the ones that are working right now and making sure that everything on the boat, all the systems work, every single piece of spare material that I'm going to need, or tools, and not too much either, because the boat can't be too heavy, is on board, because once I'm out there, then if I've got a problem, I've got to repair it myself. But I can call the team to let me help me do that. And so that's real. The secret is knowing your boat inside out, having that preparation with your team, and there's a lot of all the hard work pays off.
The boats you have, ex Veolia, ex Neutrogena. I've actually gotten to sail on the boat and play with her quite a bit when Ryan and Boris had her. She's a great boat. They've said, Ryan told me a lot of times, he said more than any other boat he's ever sailed, it's the one that takes care of you. If you just leave the ORC up and you don't really want to go deal with the sails, just put it up and go down below, and it's not going to kill you. Yeah. Did that play into your selection of the boat?
A little bit. To be honest, the selection of the boat, I would have loved to have built a new boat for me, and I was kind of hoping with my result from last time I might get a chance, but it's been really hard to find the budget, and I'm really happy with Saviol and all my other sponsors who are behind me. And so we got into it quite late, so we didn't have much choice, because there were only a certain number of boats on the market, and we had a price limit too, so those are all the things in consideration. But the old Veolia, which is now Saviol, was definitely top on the list, and she came above boats of the next generation.
Really?
In terms of my choice of having a boat that was safe, that's well tried and tested, that's not necessarily, although it is a physical boat, it's easy to manage, as Ryan said, and Bilou set it up. And Ryan and Boris continued on the same path. That the boat is simple to sail, and so even when you're really, really, really tired and you can't think straight, you're not going to make too many mistakes that could be dangerous for the boat or the performance. And that's kind of the key to my choices. So although I would have loved to have a brand new boat 1 ton lighter than what Saviol is, at 3 days before the start, I'm really happy to have an older, a bit more solid, a bit heavier boat.
Did you get to go through some of the weight training or weight trimming regime that a lot of these other guys with older boats have, where they were able to pull 400 or 500 kilos out of it?
Yes and no, and I don't think that this boat's had that done to her already by Bilou, and she's a Lombard design, but then they boosted her with 1K, and so a lot of that work had been done. And actually, to be honest, I did the opposite, and I guess what maybe a lot of people see from the boat. Maybe the weak point of the boat was the keel, and so I changed the keel, and so now she doesn't have the same fin. As she
Now you have a lead bulb and a regular steel fin, right?
Yeah, I have a lead bulb. I had to change the bulb because I'm changing the fin, and I couldn't use the old bulb. And so
That's
I have a forged and machined fin, which is so I actually took a weight gain.
How much bigger? I know that
hopefully for reliability gain as well.
the old Vendee Neutrogena had the tungsten bulb, which was, I know it was smaller. It was one of the smallest bulb in the fleet. How much volume and drag do you really gain by going to lead?
That's a question for 1K, I think. And although I have an engineering degree, I haven't used it to that depth for long enough. But I think there is a gain, obviously, with tungsten, but it costs a lot of money as well. And at the end of the day, is the gain a little bit psychological as well in the head of the skipper's head, knowing that they've got a tungsten bulb, and that's just one extra. It
makes you so much more exotic, though. Imagine if we could still use the uranium.
Roxy had a tungsten bulb as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think in terms of... And even the keel, I think Mish had calculated that because he had made the same keel. And it's a question of a number of hours. I think it's 4 or 5 hours in 90 days, the difference between a machined or a welded, fabricated fin. So.
It's amazing the numbers these people come up with.
So if you're more if you're happier in your head because you've got a solid fin or a tungsten bulb, or then you're going to send it a lot faster in some conditions in the Southern Ocean when you're miles from anywhere and you're really tired and you're wondering whether your boat's holding up or not. Then if you can send it in those conditions, you win back those hours that you've kind of given away in terms of performance, in terms of just how you sail in the boat.
About your attitude and this sort of reputation you've gotten as the person who's always smiling and always upbeat, are you just hiding when it gets really bad, or are you really that person? I mean, how much is doing it for the media and for the fans, and how much is it really who you are?
No, it is. You can ask all the people who my close friends who I've done double-handed transats with, and even my Sherry, who I sailed a double-handed transat with, and everyone says it's not for the media and it's how I am, and I was born. Well, I can see my mum and dad's house. It's the schooner that's over there. They live on a boat, and so I was born into a sailing family before even my mum and dad. So it's in my genes, and for me it's natural to be on a boat, and it's always been fun because when I was a kid, sailing wasn't racing or competition or a job. It was going on holiday and the weekend, and so they taught me to live on a boat no matter what the conditions are, and respect the conditions obviously, and deal with them. And maybe it's coupled with the fact that I've worked really hard with my team to prepare my boat, so I have confidence in my boat and I have confidence in me and how I'm handling it. So it's all a big if I trust myself and I know the boat and the conditions, then I'm having fun and I love it out there. So and sometimes when it's scary, you take the camera and you think about all the people who are watching at home. And you're like, well, actually, even if it is scary, I'm much happier out here than I am in an office watching this on the internet. So let's just make the most of it. And
it's got to be a big part of you that loves the adrenaline anyway.
Definitely. And that's, I think, if you don't love it and if you're afraid of being afraid, then you shouldn't be there in the first place. And so we are a different species of people that enjoy it out there. And for sure, there's some of the guys they enjoy it, but in a different way, and so maybe they're a bit more miserable. But at the end of the day, they look back and they enjoy it.
Some people love misery. A lot of these guys actually.
Yeah, some people need that for performance, and for me, to push myself hard and to push my boat hard, I have to be happy and comfortable. So maybe it's a girl thing, but and I know some people have to be miserable to go fast. Yeah. So it's really angry. Individual. Yeah,
that's a Ryan thing. I know that we were pretty shocked that after an incredible showing, a 4th place, I mean, Roxy's name was all over the globe. You know, I can't imagine what your media returnables were, but we were shocked to
20 million euros.
20 million euro.
Yeah.
We were pretty shocked to see, and I'm sure you were shocked too, to find it so difficult. Is there something that you maybe didn't do as well as you would have liked, or is the market just that tough for a woman seeking sponsorship to do this?
No, the market's tough, and not just for the women, but for the men as well. And that's why there's 20 of us here and not 30 like last time. And I think I did really well, and Roxy were really pleased. And it was just also bad timing, and they had some big problems at the time, which were not at all related with neither the financial crisis, neither the Vendee Globe, but it was just really bad timing. Stuff. And they really hoped that they could have carried on, but their problems were a lot worse than they thought at the time. So there was a little bit of miscommunication. I think a lot of people thought that Roxy would continue because it was so amazing and it was so good, and they were so happy. And so some people, I think, didn't even question that until it was too late. And so it was hard to get the message out in the first time. Was just getting the message out. I want to go again, and I need someone to back me. And a lot of people didn't believe that I didn't have anyone behind me.
Yeah. Meanwhile, then you swooped in and you nicked your boyfriend's sponsor.
No, I didn't pinch my boyfriend's front. And actually, why Saviol are here, and it started in the last Vendee when I went shopping in Leclerc in Sèvres de l'Aune. I bought the cherry tomatoes for my first 2 weeks of racing were Saviol tomatoes without realising. And actually, one day I was in the trade winds and I was just like having my last fruit and veg, and I had a pineapple, and so I thought, I'm going to show this to everyone at home. So I filmed it and sent it back, and it went on the equivalent of the big TV channel's evening news. And so someone from Saviol saw that, and so they invited me to their AGM and to talk and to give them a conference. And so it started from there, and Roman came with me, and so we had dinner with the administrators, because it's a big cooperative of tomato producers. Right. And
1,000 tons of tomatoes every year or something like that.
Yeah, it's 150 different producers that produce tomatoes and strawberries, and 80% tomatoes and the rest pretty much strawberries. And they're based in Brest near the sea, so they follow sailing and they love sailing. They look at the weather every day because that's how they grow their tomatoes. So there's a lot of parallels between us and the sailors in Saviol. And so they were really keen to do something in sailing, and they saw that Roman didn't have a sponsor. And for them, what I was looking for was too big. And so they actually suggested to Roman that we did the AG Tour together, the two of us. So that's how we ended up sailing as a couple in a double-handed transat race, was with Saviol. And then they went on to sponsor Roman for 2 years in his Figaro campaign. And then when they started thinking about what they do, would they carry on buying TV adverts this year and next year? And they were chatting with Roman, and he said, well, you'd be stupid if I don't really know that much, but I think your budget for the TV adverts is similar to what Sam's looking for the Vendee, and she's got some other contacts that could maybe come in as co-sponsors. Why don't you do that? And so it was actually Roman. So it's biggest present, biggest love present from my Sherry that I could ever have.
That's a pretty good gift, isn't it?
Yeah. A baby and a sponsor all in 1 year was pretty cool.
Having a baby, we all seen the statistic that says that no one's ever won a Vendee Globe without having a child. Yeah. You've got one, so you qualify now. But how does it affect? How do you think it will affect, if it'll affect at all, the way you approach things? Does it make you less risky? Does it make you less likely to push, or does it make you more? I mean, what does that do to your mind?
I've never been one that takes big risks, and having grown up on a boat and around boats, so I've always been someone. I promised my mum and dad, because they always clipped me on because they didn't want to run around and be holding on to me all the time when we were on board. So I grew up being clipped on with a harness, and so that's something I've always promised my parents, and I sail with my harness. I've always got that, and now the days of spin lock and the deck harnesses, they're really easy, and so that's compared to a lot of the other guys out here who never clip on. I'm always clipped on, and I've always done that, and I think to sail well in the Vendee Globe, you have to, or that's my opinion anyway, is you have to sail a race without taking too many risks. If you want to sail well, because if you want to get a good result, you've got to finish, and to finish you can't take too many risks. And so from the beginning of the year, I've been wondering if I'd change the way I sail, and I really haven't noticed anything. And actually I kind of forget that I'm a mum when I'm out there sailing, and sometimes I feel guilty. The only difference is that's quite hard is that when you're a mum, you have less time, so I've had to divide the time between looking after my baby and looking after my boat, and again, that's why I have an amazing team, and they understand, because sometimes I have to rush off and I can't be with them, and so I have to trust them, and they accept that sometimes.
And now you have 3 months off from it.
So yeah, and I wonder if it's actually harder. Roman's a sailor as well. He's Ruben Stad's a sailor.
He's a Figaro.
Yeah, Figaro sailor. Figurist, and so he knows what it's like out there, and he's already been off for a translate, so I know what it's like being at home on your own as a single parent, and I wonder if it's actually harder. His Vendee Globe will be harder than mine.
Probably will be. You're going to have a lot more fun. Listen, we got to cut it off, but I want you to know that we'll be following you, the former Sailor Chick of the Year on Sailing Anarchy, and I think every sailor's
very proud.
Look at that.
Very proud.
All
Very.
right. And every sailor's fantasy. Let's be honest, okay? So great job, and we'll be watching every minute. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, and we'll keep in touch during the race.
Great. I'm in love.